Hello, everyone, and welcome to our What's New webinar for our May release. I'm very excited to have you all joining with us today and learning about what's new in health and safety. So before I start, I'd love to introduce us. My name is Claire Russell, and I'm a product manager at ServiceNow for health and safety. And I'm joined here today with Jordan, and he is our inbound product manager for health and safety. And today we'll cover all of our release updates as part of our May release. Just want to quickly cover our safe harbor here. If we do make any forward-looking statements, if you have any questions, and we do cover roadmap, we just have to cover our safe harbor to say that up until the date of our release, we do reserve the right to make some changes to our roadmap and our scope. And today's session is hosted as part of our Lives on ServiceNow. And this is the curated event series to connect you with our ServiceNow experts and peers to help you deploy your products and achieve faster value. So we do hope that you'll join us again in another webinar or meetup. And you can see our full event schedule by scanning the QR code. So we do, from our health and safety team standpoint, host a quarterly webinar for what's new because we follow a quarterly release cadence, and you'll be able to find all of our sessions by using this QR code. A couple of housekeeping rules. There will be Q&A after the session. So at the end of the session, if you do have any questions, we will be on to answer those. So please feel free to put them, but make sure you use the Q&A. I think there's also the chat feature. It's easier for us to see all of those questions in one place if you use the Q&A. Feel free to introduce yourself when asking a question. We always love to know who you are and see if you're one of our customers or who's on our session today. And the session will be recorded and shared on the ServiceNow community forum. So we do have our own dedicated health and safety page on community, and you'll be able to find our recording if you do need to drop off or share this with another member of your team. And then at the end, you will be prompted to fill out a survey. So we do appreciate your feedback. We host these quite frequently. So we'd love to know if there's anything that we should change or that you'd like to see. From an agenda standpoint, we're first going to cover a summary of what's new, what did we release in our May release. We then will cover our features more in depth. So first, our advanced safety incident feature. We'll then cover report mapping. And then next, Jordan will actually cover our inspections and safety registers. So again, at the end, we will have time for questions. So please feel free to put them in the chat as we're going through our presentation today. All right, so what did we release in May? So this is just a summary of what we released. Again, we will go more in depth on what the specific features are, but the first feature that we released is inspections. So within inspections, you'll have the ability to assign health and safety workplace inspections, and these can be based on anything. So they can be based on environment, equipment, materials, processes. They could be field inspections. They could be workplace inspections. And the goal of this is to identify workplace hazards and reduce health and safety incidents. So proactively identifying hazards before they cause an injury or an incident or harm on your employees. The second feature that we released is our safety register feature. And with this feature, you'll have the ability to document and maintain a register of information on either chemicals, asbestos, or other safety information. And this also is going to allow you to surface up those safety data sheets to employees within the employee center so that they have that hazard communication and visibility to them. So the goal of this, we built it to maintain compliance and create a culture of safety to inform those employees of hazardous materials. So enhancing their self-service around hazard communication. Our next feature that we released, and we're really excited about this one, is our report mapping feature. A lot of our customers are not US-based or have additional requirements for report mapping. And so with this feature, you'll have the framework to create and generate either global, regional, or internal reports, as long as they're fillable PDFs. And these can be based on injuries, incidents, or observations. So the goal of this is to reduce manual report creation of regulatory compliance reports. So right now, out of the box, we have OSHA reporting, but many of our customers have additional reporting needs. And so we'll walk through how to create some of those reports. And then finally, we have our advanced incident reporting, and this is more focused on the employee's experience. But the goal of this is to collect more incident information upon initial incident submission. We were noticing as we were following along with a lot of our customer go lives that they were configuring our health and safety incident form and actually surfacing a lot more data for the employee to submit before submitting it to the health and safety team. So the goal of this is to reduce investigation time and even errors during the submission process. So if your employee or your manager is submitting a health and safety incident and there's some of that back and forth, some key information might be lost. I then also wanted to cover a few of our minor new features and enhancements. We're not going to do demos of these today, and we do have a blog on our community page that will go a lot more in depth into what these features are, but they're just good things to know. So our first feature that I wanted to cover is our WSD location picker. So if you remember, if you are more familiar with health and safety incident management, on the employee's record producer, that employee experience side, they were able to choose the location of where the incident was actually occurring. And they had to actually filter through the entire WSD location hierarchy. If you're using that, or just the CNM location, WSD location is just an extension off of that table, but they had to filter off or through all of those different fields. And that was a pretty cumbersome process. It had a lot of information, and it wasn't as easy to find the actual location that they were choosing. So we've now broken out the location hierarchy, and I'll cover it when we show the demo just to show what it looks like. But it essentially, the goal is to easily select that WSD location hierarchy, and it will have a separate field for each of that hierarchy. So a separate field for room, space, floor, and your employee will know exactly where they're choosing for that location of where the injury occurred. And this is also going to give better reporting visibility. The second feature that we've updated is our time zone. So previously there was a date and time picker on that injury record. And what happened was when a health and safety team member was logging in and viewing the health and safety injury in a different time zone, it was converting the time zone. So we've removed that time zone offset for incident reports. And so now there is not a date picker anymore. You have to type in that injury and illness date and time specifically, but it will always have the correct date and time no matter what time that user is in, and it won't be converting any date and time. So this is really important for OSHA. So we wanted to make sure that this was correct with the date and time. And then our last update that I wanted to call out was within our health and safety workspace, we do have our configuration area. It previously was known as settings. We just made a name change to it. Settings did not make sense from a user experience. And again, with just better user experience, better navigation, and making it more of an intuitive experience for your health and safety teams as they're adopting this product, we've named it to configuration. That area has some updates in terms of where the products live, but the actual functionality is still, it was just a name change. All right, so we're now going to cover our first major feature, which is advanced incident reporting. And so I did cover it a little bit, but essentially advanced incident reporting allows either your employees or managers to submit comprehensive incident reports. And so there is flexibility to either have the basic form, which is what we are calling essentially the incident form that was the incident form prior to this release, or the advanced form. So during implementation or during your upgrade, you would determine which form you would like to use. And you would be able to choose both if you'd like, or you could just choose basic or advanced. And so we do have flexibility to support that also depending on different employee types. If you want your managers to fill out more information, whereas you want your employees to have basic forms, and it's more of a quick and easy process to report, there's flexibility there. Again, the goal of this was less configuration on our customers' end, and also less time spent by our health and safety team on gathering that information from the requester. So we'll now walk through a demo of our advanced incident reporting. So we're logged into our employee center here, and we have updated our health and safety taxonomy to now include the features that we've released in May. So our first one being this health and safety incident advanced form. So I'll quickly show you the basic one. Essentially, the basic form is the form that we've released originally with health and safety incident management. We're now on version 6. All of the prior versions would have had this form, and we've just renamed it to have basics. So again, you would use this for your employees that want a more simple experience. You don't want to provide them a ton of fields because you really just want them to report things without spending a lot of time completing all of these fields. So again, during implementation or during upgrade, you would determine which one you would like to use, and then you can always delete basic or advanced from that name. You don't need to keep basic or advanced in there. I think that might confuse your employees a little bit, but you would determine which one you wanted to use. So within our advanced form, we can see that some of the fields have remained the same from that basic form. We have our occurred on date. We can choose our category, our name, and our location. If you remember, I called out that we have updated our location hierarchy. So now when our employee is selecting a location here, we can determine that this is Boston in building 1, it's floor 1, we can have our area 1. We can also have our space. So we have broken out essentially the location hierarchy so we can determine where exactly did this incident occur. And instead of filtering through that entire list of all of this information, they can be guided through it. Next, we can choose what happened. And then we also can select, is there an injured person? So one update that we made in this release is we now have the ability with the playbook turned on to have 0, 1, or multiple injuries with the playbook. So you could do that before if you had actually turned off that playbook view. But now with this update, we have it for our incident here to report multiple injuries on one incident, as well as work through that investigation with the playbook on. So first we can say, is there an injured person? And we can select more than one person here. So we can also add our person type. We have Eileen. We can choose our type. And then our injured body picker. So right now we do not have the injured body picker, like the actual visual in our employee center yet. That is going to come soon. But we can choose where the injury was, and he bruised his head. And then we can add that off. So we can add more than one body parts here that have been injured, as well as more than one injuries on this specific incident. We also can identify people involved, and so we can add those people, select the person type, the association, say a witness, and it's Vivian. And then again, guiding us through with these yes or no questions. If there is a hazard, we can say yes. And we can then actually select our hazards from our hazard register. So if you do remember in our February release, we released the ability to maintain a complete hazard register for your health and safety team. So we can categorize them depending on what type of hazard they are. And we can actually search through this and say, maybe it's a specific type of hazard, so we can search or even just filter through. We'll say no. And same thing with assets here. If we say yes, we can select the assets, and this will pull from your asset tables. So if you are using assets or tracking assets within ServiceNow, you can pull those here and add it to our incident form. So that is everything I wanted to show for our advanced incident reporting. This information will then appear within that playbook for your investigators to then work through, so they'll be able to see which injured people have been added, which assets have been added, and if there is a hazard, they'll also see that within our workspace there. Our next feature that I wanted to cover is our report mapping feature. So again, we're really excited about this feature because it's going to allow our customers the framework and flexibility to create their own incident reports. And so when I say reports, I mean more of those regulatory or compliance or even internal reports that you're generating and sending out to specific individuals after an incident or an injury occurs. So this is really more so the framework for that. You would be able to upload any PDF as long as it's a fillable PDF, and essentially generate the PDF and map them back to existing fields within ServiceNow. So if you have configured or customized some fields on ServiceNow, on the incident or illness or even observation form, you can map those as well. And this is just going to allow you to personalize it to those requirements. So we'll quickly walk through a demo of what that report mapping looks like. So we're back, or we're actually now in our health and safety workspace here. And like I said earlier, this used to be named settings. We've now updated it to be our configuration area. And from here, we have within this configuration area our hazards register, our controls register. We now have our safety registers that Jordan will cover in a little bit. We have templates for our JSAs. We have our risk matrices for our risk assessments. And now finally at the bottom, we have our report mapping feature. We'll actually start walking through what one of these looks like. So first, within the report mapping feature, you would name it and have a short description. We just have incident summary report 1.0, but you would have the flexibility to name it anything. If you wanted to name it a specific report, say you're an Australian customer and you needed to name it, say for Victoria, for example, and you need your employees or your health and safety teams to know that that's the report, you can be very specific with what that name is, as well as choose the location. The next thing you'll need to do is you choose the mapping table. So out of the box, the mapping table could be either incident, observation, or injury and illness. That is essentially where this report is going to appear to generate off of. So for example, within OSHA, you generate those reports off of injuries because they're based on reportable injuries. So that's where that report appears to generate. Same thing here. If you wanted to generate it off of an injury, or if you wanted to generate it off of an incident, this is essentially where that map would go. And then you would upload your PDF. Once that happens, you then have the flexibility to choose which table these fields are going to map to. So case number is going to map to the number of the case. Status would be when it was updated, but you could change it to be really anything. If you wanted it to be any of these fields that are pulling off of those injury and illness forms, you can. And then you also have the ability to map across different tables within ServiceNow. So if they needed to go to maybe the incident form and pull information from there because it's not always on that injury and illness record, you can map across tables. And then you also have the ability to add some script. So if we needed to add script here, again, with this feature, you're not going to be updating these and changing these all the time. It's really just to set this up and then have it available for your health and safety teams to generate the reports. But we did just want to show some of the back end and how it would look. But you wouldn't be doing this every single time you needed to generate a report. So once we are all good with our form field mapping, we would change this to published. That is going to make it so that it's available for your health and safety teams with the specific roles. That'd be our compliance report mapping role. And they would be able to generate that report. So if we navigate to our health and safety incident here, I'm looking at an incident with our playbook turned off because you do have that flexibility to keep your playbook either on or off. It's just a personal preference for your teams. In this instance, I have it turned off, but it also will work with your playbook on. And we actually can generate the report. So if we had one based off of the incident, we would generate the report. We can see the name of it, and then it will attach that completed incident summary. Let's see if we have some information in there. It will attach that completed incident report. We'll get one pulled up for us and complete that information from you. So then it will be stored on that incident. You can email it, download it, send it out. But instead of having to repopulate all this information into your number of reports or even compliance reports, it will do that itself once you generate that. So now we'll pass it off to Jordan to cover our inspections capabilities.
Great. Thank you so much, Claire. I'll just take over. Perfect. I think we're all good. So as Claire mentioned previously, we are introducing inspections to our product. What that entails is the ability to schedule and create personalized health and safety inspections for the organization using the internal feature called surveys and assessments. So this will be available on Employee Center as well as on mobile for agents to do the inspections. These can be automatically assigned and scheduled. We'll walk through one of the schedules in a moment. And it allows you to assess findings and assign actions based on the outcome of the inspection as it happens. So just moving over to our demo. So we are currently in the health and safety workspace. As you can see, with the new menu changes, as Claire pointed out, we now have safety inspections on our navigation. We have a couple of menu options in the list here. So you have your inspections and all the different states and statuses that they can go through, again, configurable to your needs. And then we also have our inspection schedules, active, inactive, and all, findings and actions. And this is linked to our universal actions list, so across the entire health and safety workspace. So let's quickly have a look at an inspection schedule. So the details of a schedule can be defined in the standard templates. So short description, the inspection format, so if it's digital, or even if you have a paper one, that can also be recorded as well. We can choose the survey that we'd like to do. So the container inspection being what we'll demo in this case. So you can create inspection surveys ahead of time and then create the schedules and assign them as needed. Again, we can create it for a group or specific individuals as well. In this case, location, we can again use the location picker as required, depending on what you've implemented on your instance. We also have linked to the assets as well. So any assets that are involved with an inspection, if you're looking at specific containers, you would tag those obviously in here. And then the duration. So you can have a start date and end date for inspections, the frequency for them. So if they're daily, weekly, monthly, again, it can be expanded upon if required. And the expiration period. So this is how many days they have to complete the inspection or the survey once it is created. We also can see the inspection records as they are produced here. So within the schedule, how many of them have been created since the schedule has been run, and you're able to go in and view all of those inspections here. We'll go back and just go to all of our inspections as we see them. So again, I can navigate in and have a look at each of these, what the results were for any of them. But in this case, we'll just go to a normal inspection for a container that I've created for this demo. So on creation, you get this ability to also just create an ad hoc inspection, which is what I've done here. This allows you to define the details, again, define who exactly you're assigning it to, where the inspection is happening, any assets involved, and the survey again. When completed by the agent on the Now mobile app or an Employee Center, all of the survey results will be shown in here, and all the findings and root cause analysis and any actions that are recorded would also be available in here. So I'm going to stop sharing on my desktop, and I'm going to switch to my mobile just to show the inspections on mobile. So as we can see here, I am logged into the Now mobile app. I have the ability to obviously perform my tasks, my requests. And now, as you can see in my assessments and surveys, I have one created, which is our container inspection that we just seen. We have it due today because I'm very ambitious with it. And this allows us to go in and complete our inspection and give our data, inspecting container, and essentially run through all of the questions and give answers to all of them as they go along. So we have multiple option or question types that can be created. So bearing in mind that all of this is built on our surveys and assessment out of the box features. So question types such as document uploads, Booleans, multiple choices, and then just free text field can all be selected for your specific survey needs. And again, all configurable based on what you require. So I'm going to just quickly go through here. And as some of them are mandatory, obviously I have to give some answers. And I eventually get to my submission. So that is the full survey. I've now submitted it through to the workspace. I'll just stop sharing on my mobile. And I'll just move back. So once completed this inspection and the survey results, obviously I will have to reload, but I should have, all of the answers as they were provided by me in the mobile app. So again, we can go through and input our findings once we're, say, back in the office, or again, if we want to log into the workspace and create specific actions based on the outcome of this inspection. I think that's all, and I'll just briefly move back to the presentation to now look at our safety register. So as Claire mentioned, we have added document management controls, or to be the ability to upload document and manage them for chemical, asbestos, and any specific safety registers to fulfill your needs. So we're able to surface the safety data sheets to employees on the Employee Center. So this allows for a searchable register. It allows you to ensure that the employees are compliant with safety regulations after they maybe have to look them up. In the case of a container inspection that has hazardous materials, you could be looking at the specific safety data sheet for that. And we're going to just briefly jump to that demo. So we would go to our configuration field. As Claire mentioned, this has changed in the most up-to-date release. And we'll see that we've added this new list for safety registers. So again, configurable to your specific needs. We have added chemicals, registers, asbestos, and any other materials as required. And in this case, we're just going to have a look at bleach. So when you upload this safety document on the workspace, this then will transfer over to the Employee Center. So we can see here, we've named it, we can say a review date, whether it's active or not. Obviously, if you don't want employees to see this one at this particular time, you can make it inactive. We have our PDF that we've uploaded, the contact details or responsible persons, say with the hazardous waste. And then in this case, chemical information. So the storage condition, whether it's in a container again, the max allowed quantity, the current quantity, any specific consequence of spillage and likelihood alongside for risk assessments, date last reviewed, expiry dates, and any particular notes that you have associated with this safety data sheet. And again, we can have our actions as per the rest of the platform associated with this. So potentially preventative training on this specific chemical. And in this case, we're going to go and have a look at this on Employee Center. So this is now going to live in the health and safety navigation under View Safety Register Documents. We can also just search for that in our universal search. But we'll go have a look. And this is actually location based. So we can have our chemicals or asbestos at specific sites, and you can filter down this list only relevant to the specific employees that need to see it. So in this case, we'll have a look at bleach again. And as you can see, we have our safety data sheet as we've uploaded. You would have the extra information as required up here. And then the employee is able to search through and read the specific safety information with regards to this chemical. Right. And again, this is available on the Now mobile app also. So just going back to the presentation, and I'll hand back over to Claire.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. I'll steal the screen share. Perfect. So if you would love to learn more about our May release, we publish a blog on our health and safety community page. So that will actually go way more in depth than we're even able to cover on our session today. And it will give you the table names, the roles, screenshots of everything. So please be sure to check that out to learn more about our May release. And then we can take any questions now. So we're happy to answer any questions that you might have from us on this release. We do have some frequently asked questions here, just things that we didn't really get a chance to cover in our demo. But one question that we get asked often is, can you search for those safety data sheets? So in the Employee Center, your employees will be either able to navigate through the taxonomy, or you can actually use the search. So if they know that specific chemical name, they can search for that chemical, say it's bleach, say they've spilled it, and they need to know how hazardous it is. They can search for it within the Employee Center, and they also can do that on the Now mobile app. So if they're not sitting at their desk, or they're on the go, or they're even just they don't have a desk, they can search for that. Another question that we get for inspections, and Jordan covered this really well, is how are surveys and inspections built? They are built using how are inspections built? They're using the survey and assessment feature within ServiceNow. So essentially you would build those out within Survey Designer and then associate them to that inspection table to be able to create those either ad hoc or scheduled. So you can schedule those inspections on different cadences if you do have plans, and those will automatically be scheduled. So you don't have to generate each of those inspection records, and that will make the process a bit more efficient. All right. So I don't see any questions coming through our chat here. If you do have any questions after the fact and you want to reach out to us, please feel free to contact us. It's Claire and Jordan, so we're happy to answer any questions that you might have. And thank you for joining our session today. That's everything that we have. We'll stay on for a few minutes in case you're still thinking of questions or about any of the content. We're happy to answer them, but if not, we will see you all in August. All right. Thank you all.